would like to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll call this meeting to order, and Rebecca, if you will call roll.
Mayor Smith.
Present.
Alder Billiard. Present. Alder Hill. Alder King.
Present.
Alder Lancaster. Present. Alder Matheson.
Present.
Alder Wilson. Present. Mayor, we have a quorum.
All right, fantastic. All right, has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? And Wes, do we have any alterations?
Yeah, so the, apologies, which person? There's so many, I can't find it. There is an item
Number
for,
35.
thank you, Holly, I appreciate it. So number 35, we're going to move that to the next meeting.
Okay.
The board had asked the water board to weigh in on the joint municipal water information. So we have that scheduled for Wednesday, and then Holly had some concerns about the contractual language he's researching for the attorneys. So hopefully by July 28th, we had to do a first and second read on that item and get it cleared off.
Thank you. Anything else?
That is it. And then also, just as a FYI as well, you might notice that some items have first and second read on them.
Yes.
We're trying to just move things along more efficiently, so items that we don't think will need a whole lot of coming back or thinking over a couple of weeks, we're trying to condense them together. If any board member wants to separate them back out, you can do so with a motion as part of the agenda amendments, and we can move the second reads like we usually would.
All right. Having said that, can we get a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion that we approve the agenda with the adjustments.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at the consent agenda? If there are no questions or concerns, can we get a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Current outstanding invoices, drafts, and check paid invoices, if any. Carolyn says there are none. Okay, thank you. All right, next session is for citizen input. If anybody would like to step forward and speak, just please tell us your name and your address and tell us what's on your mind.
Good evening. My name is Doug Patillo. My address is 3481 North Farm Road 93 in Willard. I currently own tiny roll-off dumpsters here in Willard, and I do have a business license through Willard. By the end of the week, I'm in the process of purchasing B&H trash and should have that by the end of the week. We also have a business license through Willard for that. They are currently based out of Walnut Grove, but as you all probably know, they have lots of customers in the Willard area. I'm here tonight to talk to you about the upcoming vote on the trash contract, which is number 31 on the agenda. First, I'd like to tell you real quick about myself and my company. I've lived in Willard for 40 years, and I graduated from Willard in 1990. I have owned tiny roll-off dumpsters for 5 years, and I'm a big supporter of the Willard Parks Department. For 4 years, I've been the major sponsor of the cleanup day at the rec center. This year, we filled and dumped over 12 dumpsters full and nearly 38,000 pounds of trash. Not only did I donate my time, but I donated everything associated with the cleanup day, including the use of my dumpsters and the dump fees at the landfill. Recently, I also sponsored the Freedom Fest here in Willard and supplied the Parks Department with the 96-gallon trash carts from B&H, along with 3 of my big dumpsters so the crew could empty the carts into the dumpsters and keep the park clean throughout the day, which they did an awesome job. I also have plans to sponsor the upcoming circus, and I'm also working with Jason and Samantha on a toy drive this winter in conjunction with the parkway. The reason I'm telling you all this is because of the upcoming trash contract vote. On behalf of B&H, I submitted a bid for the weekly trash disposal at several locations associated with the city. While my bid was over $700 a month cheaper than your current disposal fee, it was not the cheapest bid. I am here tonight to ask you to vote local and keep your business with a local company who spends most of his money with local businesses instead of a corporate company who is not involved with our community. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ducky. Anybody else for the public input section? Seeing no one, I will close that section. Next, project manager report. Steve?
On the 94 Force Main lift station, for the 5 desired temporary construction easements, have obtained one from the property owner. We'll close this week on 3 of the others. Have not received a response from one. We're now targeting July 30 for bid advertisement for the project. And I'll have more information enclosed on these easement situations. On Meadows connection to Springfield, discussions have resumed with the trustees of the last easement of the original alignment. We've had some preliminary discussion with the alternate route landowners. Again, I'll bring this up in closed session.
Okay.
So that's pretty well. Any questions be glad to answer.
Okay, thank you, sir. Item number 13, Public Works Equipment Presentation.
So, the board had asked that I went and brought them the hours on the skid steer. Currently, and I don't think the paper shows this, I think this was left out, but the case currently has 2,100 hours on it. The Gale currently has 436 hours on it. We are on track for 275 hours a year on the Gale. If you were to rent that at 4 hours each time with delivery fees, you're looking at $34,000 a year. If you just rent it for the entire year, you know, straight out, we've got it when we need it, you're looking at $57,600. So, currently we pay $390 a year for the insurance on the Gale. Maintenance runs us $633 a year, and we had a one-time repair of $1,789. That was for a door that got broken just on the job site. Just, you know, stuff happens. We've got the Case 60 XT, which is the inoperable skid steer that was taken to Luby. They said it would be $12,000. That was the best case scenario to fix it. Talking to Luby, talking to the administration, they said, don't waste your money on it. It's not worth it. The estimated resale value sitting in its condition is $5,000 to $10,000. That's if we send it out to bid on Go Deals. That's pretty well what others are running, you know, going right on. Top cost of ownership, insurance and maintenance, you're looking at $1,500 a year. And then your annual rental cost, you're looking at $34,000 to $57,600. So the options, we could buy a new one at $105,000. This allows us to use it anytime we need it. We don't need to schedule delivery. We can maintain it, you know, how it should be maintained, and you know, we don't have to send a crew to pick it up, you know, every time we need it. At the end of less than 2 years, we'll look at saving $8,067 compared to renting. That's with the annual rental minus insurance and maintenance. Option 2 is to rent it. It costs more. We can rent it when we need it. There's no additional ownership cost. So long as we don't damage it. So even if we rent it, we damage it, we still got to pay for it. And then option 3 is we do nothing and we stick with what we've got. Based off of all this, comparative cost, operational demand, I think it's, well, we all kind of think it's best that we look at buying a new one. We've got $30,000 worth of grant funding available to us through Greene County for equipment, and then we've got $5,000 to $10,000 for the case. So if we don't do anything, if we leave it how it sits, the case will sit out there and then it will rot. I mean, it'll eventually the motor won't run, and then you get scrap value for it. So either way, we should at least surplus the case out. If we don't do anything, we should at least surplus it just to at least get the money for it. But if we don't do anything, then that $30,000 grant, we basically just don't get it. So I don't know if anybody's got any questions.
Is that guaranteed, the grant?
Yeah.
How old is the case that's got 2,100 hours on it?
The case is 22 years old.
So that's less than 100 hours a year?
95 hours a year, yeah. So combined with the case and the gale, you're looking at 370 hours a year.
Have we not been able to do projects because the case is broke?
Yeah, so we have had to move the backhoe out to the lagoons to move material, load material, and it's, so then we're moving it there, and then you gotta move it back out of there. Yeah, it's kind
So
of,
would you just leave the new skid steer at the lagoon?
not necessarily,
So you'd be moving it?
yeah, I mean, it would still be moved, but as it sits right now, water department and streets department are both fighting for the Gale skid steer for use of it. So it's kind of, puts us into a bind on that.
So it'd be putting us with 2 skid steers?
Correct, yeah.
So if we, I'm sorry, I was just doing some math here. So if we average using it, figuring the math right, like 7 hours a week?
I didn't run the weekly.
I mean, I'm just, if we use it 275 and the other one was used for 100, that's 375 hours a year.
Right.
That we average using it for 7 hours a week.
Yeah, that's not bad, right. Yeah, and then the other part of it is if we do opt to purchase one, the hours would go up because of the other attachments that we can get for it in the future. So there is that option too.
Explain to the board, I think, help them understand those additional capabilities we're talking about and why we don't currently have those.
So the Gale, when it was purchased, it was under the understanding that it was a high flow machine. It is not a high flow machine. Me and Shane double checked with.
Trevor, you're gonna have to bring that down to our level.
Okay.
Tell us what a high flow
So-
machine means.
So standard flow is basically 20 gallons per minute or less. That's your hydraulic fluid that your attachment, your couplers can put out. So basically anything above 20 gallons a minute is high flow. That's where you use your brush hog on the skid steer, your mulcher, your cold planer for your street sweeper, all those things. Yeah, so all that uses high flow. Your low flow stuff like a grapple, maybe a low flow auger.
All the attachments.
Yeah, basically anything where you're moving some heavy weight to destroy something or, something of that matter, you need high flow to do it. So low flow, yeah, you're just picking up, sticks and stuff like that if you got a grapple or something of that sort. With the high flow.
Would you say that flow equals pressure?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So.
Dumbing it down a little.
Yeah, so more flow, more pressure,
Okay.
more bigger attachment.
More power.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
So that allows us to, we can mulch trees with that, we can cut down stuff, we can clear brush, we can cut up the roads with that. You can get what's called a cold planer. It's basically a big, and that's actually what we're trying to purchase. It's a big cutter, and you can cut down the road, that far. You can cut off the top layer of asphalt, so you don't have to dig it all down with the backhoe and then, put gravel back in. You can just cut it down, patch back over it if you've got a good base. So, that way it saves time, it looks a lot nicer. There's a whole lot of different things that you can do with it.
I think that one's kind of important to think about as well. We're trying to come up with a plan to self-perform road maintenance. It's a lot cheaper than.
More in-house than.
Yeah.
And I was just
It's a lot cheaper in the long run. It costs $598,000 some change to do Jackson. You know,
Yeah.
and they're basically doing what this is going to do, milling it down and
It was
over.
like,
Not quite, I mean,
You know,
there's
they
a
have to
lot.
do the whole street like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we're not, you know, we
But
can't do
patching
10
on
miles,
those,
but, you
yeah.
know, we
Yeah.
can do a lot more with it, you know, it helps us out a lot, and it frees a lot of people up and a lot of machinery up.
Yeah.
and understanding the historical, hours of usage, you know, I think that we would all agree that our current trajectory for use is not plateaued, that with all the projects that we have going on, I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's trending upward and
Yeah,
hopefully
rapid.
soon be trending upward dramatically.
Correct, yeah, I mean,
Making it
we're,
even more important that we have the equipment that we need.
right, I mean, we're putting over double the hours on the 2003 case on the Gale, you know, so I mean, we're using it a lot more than that case was ever used, and it can't even do everything we need it to do, so if we get one that we really can use a lot, you know, I mean, we may use that thing, you know, 15, maybe 20 hours a week, I don't know, but.
I'd like to see all the things out there moving about 24 hours a day personally.
Oh, well, we can do that.
We ask you if you want more manpower, you say
Yeah.
no. I'm thinking the night shift, the third shift, the public works, let's start
Yeah.
on the roads.
Yeah, I mean.
One thing we talked about doing is, you know, getting ahead of some of these things. We all know that the roads can be a little bit bumpy in places. You can get ahead of them before they get like that and take care of that surface. You know, you start off with crack sealing and whatnot, but eventually you have to take a chunk out, or if they have a water leak under there and something breaks in the road, they dig out the road. You know, we want to give them the tools they need to kind of put it back the way it should be, best it can be, to limit the chance of it buckling over time.
I mean, taking care of a skid steer will last you 20 years, you know, a good branded skid steer, easily 20 years. I mean, you know, we got 22 out of the case, so, you know, we should have no problem getting another 20 out of a new one.
So worst case scenario, you said 105, really, it's really gonna be about 70
Right, yeah.
with the grant money and what we sell it for.
Correct, yeah.
Any other questions on the equipment topic? Joyce, any other?
This is what we need this time, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I checked it,
yes,
you checked it, you checked it.
yes. It's not to say that the Gale is like, it'll never get used, you know, I don't know what will.
And Pops can share it as well.
Yeah, we can share it, I mean, it's not like it's gonna get thrown off and never used, it will definitely still get used, it's just, you can do a whole lot more with a new one, and we're replacing the one that, you know, that took a crap on us, so it's, yeah.
Thank you, Trevor. All right, next section is the flock camera presentation.
This is the one we're gonna hope that everything works the way it's supposed to.
So everybody will know not where to commit crimes. Thank you, Trevor. Yep.
Do you know if Aiden, do you have Aiden's number? Can you see if he's ready?
Aiden's number?
Because the Teams is up now, hopefully.
So as not to waste valuable time with an agenda as long as this one, I've left messages.
Okay.
They said they thought they were up at 6:30. I let them know it's gonna be sooner than that. Flock was something that I presented several months ago as a good force multiplier. Springfield, Ozark, Nixa, Republic, Ash Grove even has flock systems, and it enables. It's Tom McLean. Right, we're waiting on you.
And we can come back, Chief, we can maybe hit the next section and come back if we need to.
Say that again? Yes. Yes. Okay.
Wes, are we waiting for them to log on or something, or give us a password?
Just waiting for them to get into Teams. It's our meeting, so what we're hoping that ultimately is our technology can handle the extra effort.
Okay, how about we move to the next section?
I think
That's
yep.
gonna be a
I'll look out for the discussion.
and then we can come back when hopefully they're ready. As long as Holly says that's lawful for us to do. All right, discussion number 15 was a discussion option to move the monthly BOA meeting. That's actually something I asked Wes to start exploring. And not that I'm leaning either way, but I would like all of us to talk to our constituents to see what might be done that would make our positions more attractive, so that whenever there's elections and openings, could we do to maybe get more people interested in local government? So that we don't have to assign people to the positions and have write-ins like many of us were, including me. So it was just an idea, well, maybe people would rather, I mean, we're all gonna volunteer our time, and would we rather just do it one longer evening, or be responsible and obligated to come in 2 evenings a week? So I thought we could just have a discussion. I wanted it on the agenda so that if the people saw it on the agenda, they would come and speak on it, but I don't see anybody other than us, so. So, we got Doug here. Doug might throw his 2 cents in.
We know all that you're excited. One thing I did give you guys was just a grid of kind of proposed changes, and Holly and I spoke at length last Wednesday, and I think ultimately we have most of the things in place that we could do this with if you guys wanted. Going to 1 meeting a month, if something came up, it doesn't stop us from having a special meeting to discuss, and certainly I think we would want to stick with that for the budget. I think that worked well last year, having that special meeting to discuss the draft budget and then going into the formal session. I think it was a week later. So kind of what I was looking at just is, again, as an idea, not necessarily committing this to any track, but a soft transition. So for example, if there was agreement to move in this direction, the next meeting this month will be a light meeting. Then August 1st we do a heavy meeting. The second meeting of August we do a light meeting. We'll try to cancel it, and then try for full implementation by September. And then just you guys keeping the second meeting date of the month available just in case we have some teething troubles. So that seemed to be a logical plan. Special meetings will stay fully available if urgent needs arise, or we just go, you know, this is a 4-hour meeting and we want to go to bed. Let's maybe schedule this last piece for next week or something. Ordinances still have to have 2 readings as required by law. For routine things, we could do a 1 and a 2. And then for things that you guys want to cogitate a little bit more on, we can do a 1 and then a 2 at the next meeting. Maybe as part of a consent. That was explore, but you know, maybe we put it in the consent agenda and we have the second reading as part of the consent. And then when you make the motion, you approve everything, including the second readings. And none of this precludes you, as I said earlier in this meeting. If we do a first and a second, and then you guys want to have it separated, you can make that motion to pull it out. And likewise, if we did it with the consent route, you could make a motion to pull it out of there and have more discussion. So it doesn't necessarily close you to the format that we lay out. The way we wanted to do it as well as planning, maybe we put in parentheses roughly how long the discussion takes. It's something that the OTO folks do, and it works quite well for them. It's not necessarily a thou shalt not exceed 15 minutes, but it gives us all an idea of how long it's going to take. It gives Rebecca an idea of, okay, this agenda is going to be pretty beefy. Maybe, is there anything we can maybe put off? Is there something maybe we need to do a special? So it helps us to plan for that. As Holly had said, we're in a spot as a city where we're kind of in a planning stages instead of reactionary stages, so it's probably a good time. We're planning on staying that way. I like to be proactive and work ahead. It's far less stressful responding to crises. So again, with planning on our part, it helps us to lay out those agendas and kind of slot things in a way that's workable. I know there'll be some concerns about transparency and accountability. I think that we're kind of hitting those check boxes at the moment. We've got our budget now online. We're presenting those reports. We've got the recording going out there. The minutes are searchable. They connect to the recordings with bookmarks and everything. I think you also have your availability. If folks can come to talk to you, they can come to talk to me. I think we've made good strides in opening up and showing people what we're up to. So I think we'll be okay there. Administrative practices is something else that I jotted down here. Often we have a tendency of, you guys have already approved and appropriated the budget. We need to just get into the business of we're executing the budget as prescribed versus we've appropriated and approved. Now we're coming back to you guys to say, hey, now we're going to execute on this piece of the budget. Do we have your blessing? And then we have 2 more approvals. I think that the reason that exists is probably was a wise thing at the time. There was some turmoil going on, and as a board, you chose to kick the tires and really dig down on it, and I think that's good. But I think we're building trust, and I'd like to think we've got trust together that maybe we can implement it as maybe originally intended, with the board having that policy oversight and the budget appropriation oversight, and then letting us as an administration get off into the weeds and do the digging and maybe trying to figure out, okay, we've saved money here, let's take care of this here. We've not saved money there, now we need to get back to the board. As far as bids and things, if they're within the budgeted amount, we execute that. If they exceed that, then we bring it back and say, hey, we're going to have to go over. Is that okay? Kind of moving in that direction. And then if we do this, I propose a kind of a check back in 6 months, 8 months, or something like that, just to make sure it's working as we think it is. And then on the flip side, availability to you guys. I think we have some good discourse in these meetings, so I want to kind of double down and say, hey, once a month, if you've got questions, just come swing by the office, have a chat. If you've got concerns about the budget, swing by, have a chat. Even if it's not once a month, even if it's every week, you're like, hey, I've got another question. That's all perfectly fine. That's why I'm here. So I would want to double down on that availability for you guys, so you can have that extra discourse. But that's kind of my wide view of what we can do. Holly, did you have some other thoughts?
There's some other things you'll see on the agenda that we're making the change on. You guys traditionally approve contracts via ordinance when you don't need to. It can be done by a motion. It's always better, I think, to do it by resolution, but that's a one and done vote, so you're not coming back to it twice. There are times like an MOU where it's an agreement by law, it must be an ordinance. We are seeing challenges across the nation with getting people who are willing to be public participants in elected positions, and so we are seeing a lot more combinations, minimizing the second meeting, doing first and second reads in the same as efficiency process.
I just really want to know what you guys wanted to do, or if you wanted to do it, if it was something that interests you or not. You rather have one longer night or 2 short nights?
I don't like the idea of a really long, drawn-out meeting. Honestly, I prefer the 2 shorter.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents.
Okay. Dave, what's your 2 cents?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Rachel?
I'm kind of torn. I do like maybe one a longer meeting and then maybe one a shorter meeting.
Well, another thing to keep in mind is, Wes and I have talked before the meeting, just because we have 2 2-hour meetings, doesn't mean the long meeting's gonna be 4 hours. It doesn't mean that. We can get through the longer meeting, especially by doing these things in the consent, doing first and seconds.
Yeah, you'll find a lot of things won't actually come to you yet, because they're already approved. We're coming to you sometimes to ask, like the door quote. You know, we've got a budget for the door quote, it's already okayed, or vice versa, it's within my spending authority and we've got money to pay for it. Those things can be handled administratively. We're talking about not just refining the meeting process, but we're talking about refining the things that come to you to make sure they're really things that are worth your attention, so that you're not sitting here for 4 hours doing things that really I can do. But in light of where we were as a community, where we were as a board when I came in, we've had some things to overcome, we've had some challenges to overcome, and I think the additional oversight and discussion has helped to rebuild the trust that maybe got eroded a little bit in there. So I don't think we've done anything that we shouldn't have done. I think naturally we fixed some of those problems, but now we're at a point, I think we're comfortable, or we could be comfortable in restoring some of the roles the way they are intended, so that you guys are only involved in the stuff that you need to be involved in, but still having access to me as far as you have a concern, you have a constituent come to you asking questions, and we have discussions and handle it kind of that way, to where this can be very focused, unless it really needs the additional rigor of discussion and discourse.
Joyce, what's your 2 cents?
Got about a dime.
What's your dime?
And much like Rachel, I'm somewhat torn. I'd almost, Wes loves to hear this, almost like to have a survey of our constituents, because as we have progressed and hopefully gained some trust, I wouldn't want it to appear that, oh, we've gained their trust, now we're gonna do a flip side. So, I mean, I guess I would have the question as well, because I just didn't like the way this was worded. That the board often asks to reapprove actions. So if we shouldn't be, I mean, it's put on the agenda for us to approve, are we changing the approval process? And if not, then has it just been kind of a redundant that, I mean, I've told you numerous times, I don't want to be in the weeds.
Right.
I want the department heads to do their job, and when we ask a question, then it should be.
So the best example of that is just what I described. If we've budgeted for and appropriated funds for, let's use Jackson as an example. If we budgeted on a 20% match for that, we're going to execute that unless something changes. Maybe it's now gone from our portion is 200,000. Now we're going to 300,000. Well, we're going to have to bring that back to you to reapprove that. It's outside of my ability to approve. But if you've expended, let's see, let's take the skid steer as an example. If we're going to do the skid steer, we budgeted for something completely different. This is a new thing. We're going to have to bring it to you for an original approval. That's a new thing. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There are contracts that are coming to you that you guys have already allocated for by your
The
code.
copier.
You give him the authority to do that, to choose to spend a $20,000 contract as long as it's been allocated and appropriated in the budget. So those things are still coming back to you guys. You guys are voting before and approving expenditures of the month that you approved and allocated and appropriated in your budget. You want us to pay the bills once a month. And so there has been because of prior history problems with trust, Wes suggested, because I said you don't have to, Wes and the mayor wanted to say, hey, there's stuff we're doing we don't need to. we're duplicating, we're redundant, and so let's do it efficiently. And so you will see less coming to you because you've already approved certain things.
So perhaps your budget meeting will be more detailed as far as, like, or not necessarily
Specifics,
detailed,
yeah.
but it's,
So I think that
Something
was.
like that, we would still probably just have
Yeah,
a special meeting
That's
for.
not gonna
specifically
change.
for-
What we did last year, I think, was a good example of, I think, the best way to present. There are certain things that aren't gonna change. So what we're discussing generally in a budget session is the things that can be decided on. You know, do we wanna add a skid steer? Do we wanna buy this equipment? Do we want to invest, I don't know, random numbers, but 500,000 on putting in a sewer line, or do we wanna put that money on a water line? There's certain things that we do have choice on, and I think that's what we focused on more in this last year's budget session, was those choices. And as I recall, that was how I laid it up to you guys. Salary is pretty much fixed. Buildings, certain contracts, kind of fixed. You can go into the weeds in those, and we can absolutely discuss those. You know, what's this contract for? Why do we need it? Absolutely fair game. But I think the best focus tends to be on the choosable money. You know, the third of the budget that we can appoint, direct, remove, restore, save for next year, things like that. And I think we did get that pretty detailed, as I recall.
All right. Carol?
monthly.
Well, since
Absolutely.
it's pretty lukewarm, let's just leave it the way it is.
Okay.
Got a question.
Yes, sir.
Mike, will that affect the planning class and stuff like that?
It's actually helping the planning department in a couple ways. First of all, it's helping me be more efficient. So instead of handing you guys 7 ordinances like tonight, I'll be handing you 7 ordinances with a highlight sheet on the front. So you don't have to go through all 7 ordinances. You can skim over the highlight sheet and say, hey, these are some of the changes, these are some of the interesting aspects, this is what the planning commission discussed, these were their concerns. So it gives you a high level, gives you a high level feel of the codes. You don't have to do a deep dive. You absolutely can, you will have all the documentation and everything like that. But if you guys decide to go to a longer meeting, the staff is gonna make every effort to shorten that time as much as we possibly can.
What about the plat approvals?
Plat approvals are gonna be the same thing. We'll be talking to the engineers and everything like that. Staff's gonna come up and they're going to give you the highlights and say, you know what?
I mean, the timeline though, just waiting another month.
Wait a month instead of 2 weeks.
Well, it's, yeah, there is
Isn't
that,
planning
but,
just meeting once a month?
well, we have 2 meetings. We have an optional meeting. So, but that's the thing, if we have a plat come up and they're ready and they're flying through, there's nothing to say that you guys can't say, hey, we're gonna schedule a meeting for Board of Aldermen so they get this through 2 weeks earlier. So,
And then we just focus on that one thing, so.
Yeah.
Be in and out.
and that's a case by case, you're not gonna have, well, I'm not gonna say that, never mind. You might have a lot of developments coming in wanting that soon.
Well, let's just hold off, and I wanted everyone to think about it, and then if in 2 or 3 months, everybody's thought about it, or thinks there might be a useful change, or even a better idea, we'll explore that.
Or we'll still at least focus on is just creating the efficiencies, and then
Yeah.
maybe as you see the efficiencies, you can reevaluate, well, maybe we don't need the extra, or maybe you do, but we're gonna double down, just trying to make things a little bit more effective on staff side, so that you guys are dealing with things that you really need to spend your time on, and less on the things that you've already spent your time on.
All right. Chief,
I think they are in the lobby now, so
Are we ready, Chief? Lux is there in the waiting room. Perfect.
Wes, could you try and open up that flop?
Yeah, I have it open, let's see what happens. Yep, we hear you. Just working through some things real quick. Keep that money there.
You should be able to take note.
Well,
You just have to make sure you have opening for public comment. Seeing no one, it is closed and she needs to make sure she Ensuring right, you know that there are no one here.
Wes, can you not share his screen?
he said he's not a presenter in the.
Tell him to share.
Can you try to share and see if it gives us a permission request?
Wes,
You have
go back, you had it,
You have it?
go back, go your 3 dots.
3 dots on
Three
there.
dots?
Go down, make a presenter.
Ah, there you go. Thank you. All right, there you go. Did that work? Yeah, I did that.
Aiden? Is it Trevor? Was it Aiden or Trevor who's presenting?
Okay.
Hey, you should have it now, Trevor.
It's coming. Yeah, it's coming up.
chief has given us a pretty thorough rundown in the past, so if you're wondering why we're not asking 100 questions, I think that we pelted him with them a couple months ago. Hey, Chief, were you gonna
Yeah, I was just gonna-
jump on here?
I'm just gonna put this in perspective because Flock has made an offer to us that if we would look at this and decide that now is the time, there's a window of opportunity where they would avoid the install fees and defer the payment until January 1. I haven't heard that out of these guys today, but is that still on the table? So does that put us in a position where we would want to make a decision?
Because we don't have a contract for the board review, we'd still need that. To put funding in perspective, the system that was presented, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it was around $58,000 a year. With the Blue Shield designation, the state has $50,000 with no match available for Blue Shield communities that we will put this towards for our first year. So essentially the commitment is low risk for us on our first year, and we can see how it does. Hopefully it will do well, and as they mentioned, it does have certain economic development benefits as well, so we can use this in tandem with our placer system to see who's coming to town, where they're going, what they're doing. Not the people, for the record, just the general movements. So we can use that data in other ways as well. It also fits into a wider network of activities. So I think Ash Grove has 2.
Yes.
And then of course Springfield has some. So I mean, we're fitting into the network of flock systems around our area, so we can kind of do more good together. But the bottom line, we're looking at, you know, if we're doing a year-to-year contract, $0 first year based on if they're saying there that they're going to fit it into that Blue Shield money, and then next year we can decide if we want to keep it going based on what we're seeing.
And I recall, Aiden, that we were going to pull up a slide that shows the network as it is currently in the Southwest Missouri region. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Correct.
One other thing, would you give us the original numbers, the 58, and then there were two alternative numbers, one with, I think, 13 cameras, the other with 10 as your minimum mark. Could I get the, so just so that we could know what our choices are?
Let's take that for another meeting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are they offline, Wes?
They are, I'm just trying to get that video to work. I'm just gonna stop the recording and restart it, it seems to have
A few phone calls about.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Branson West.
Affirmative. Oh, Mike, you getting ready for your section?
I'm not gonna say anything today, Mayor.
All right, you already did.
Kind of good.
Hard to believe you won't say nothing.
It's got 15 minutes go.
Kurt?
Holy small font.
I know.
You're gonna have to rest it.
magnifiers with
Did you see these readers, Mike?
You're gonna have to pull out.
Hey, if I can read it, you guys should be in really good shape.
All right. Okay, so I think we're ready for the public hearing section, so I'm gonna open that section, and Holly's going to make sure I do it correctly. So, item number 16, I'm gonna open for, public hearing section for an ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, revising and replacing section 400.510 of the city code, providing for mixed-use development.
Okay, and Holly brought to my attention, that the program had cut off the mixed use a little bit. So that's why I dropped off another packet for you. It was not playing nice, just like the program wasn't playing nice when you uploaded everything. We went over this 3 or 4 times. It's been interesting. On the mixed use, this has been before the board for a couple months already. I don't know if you guys have any questions on it. This zoning allows for a developer to come in and rezone a property to mixed use and then develop that property with a mix of residential, multifamily, and commercial. And it's defined by the future use map. So if your property is on the future use map, the property, excuse me, not your property, but the property to be developed is on the future use map, you are eligible to come in and have that rezoned to that. If it's not, the mixed use ordinance allows you to do things concurrently. So you can do the rezone concurrently and you can do the conceptual plan concurrently. If the future map shows that property is eligible for mixed use, you can go concurrently. If it is not shown on the future use map, that option is not allowed. You would have to bring it before the board and go through the rezoning process before you went through your conceptual plan. So, lot sizes are negotiable, setbacks are negotiable. Everything's approved through the planning commission and the board of aldermen. there are some guidelines in there that direct it, but other than that, nothing that was presented for you last month has changed at all on the mixed use. Questions, comments, concerns?
It's been well hashed.
Yes, and we have the noticing right, so.
Any questions from the board? Seeing no one in the crowd. Oh, I guess I need to call for a public comment.
Doug, do you have any comments?
Doug, you're the only one, so. Seeing no one.
Whatever he said.
Don't give him that kind of freedom.
Careful what you say there.
Seeing none, or no one, then I will close that section. Then we will open the public hearing section for item number 17, which is an ordinance amending Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri Land Development Code to add section 400.515 regarding planned development districts.
Okay, we talked a little bit about this when I went through and revised some things for the mixed use. We actually took the PDD out of the code. This is reinstalling the PDD. The difference between the mixed use and the PD is somebody can come in and overlay any zoning district with a planned development. It allows them for smaller lot sizes, residential only, R1, R2, R3. It does limit them to lot sizes to 6,600 square feet, which is a little bit larger than the lot sizes in Gage Crossing down here. It does define their setbacks, 25 front and back, 10 on the side. They have to have a minimum of 70 feet on frontage, road frontage for their lots. So there is that limiting factor where that is defined in this ordinance. The other thing that is defined in this ordinance is they start out at three houses per acre, and any reduction in that lot size, they have to show an increase in common area, recreation area, trails, parks, different things like that. So as their lot size are getting smaller, their recreation areas, they have to define and show the area of their recreation, how they're connecting. It doesn't have the bonus density like the mixed use does, so that they actually have to define that a little bit better. So that's the main difference on it. There's not it is an overlay. They will have to kind of take you by the hand, walk you through the development. They're just not going to throw a plat out there and say, hey, this is the development. They're going to have to show you a little bit more, kind of like the mixed use, because it's only coming before the planning and board of aldermen once. So they're similar, but they're very different. So, questions? Oh man.
If there are no questions, I'm going to open this to any public comment. Seeing none, I'm going to close that section. Open section 18, or item number 18, we're going to open the public hearing for an ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code, Land Development Code to replace section 400.1520 and adopting floodplain management regulations.
So FEMA has come in, thank you Mayor, and finally proposing to adopt the 2018 flood maps that have been out since 2018. So FEMA is actually going to pull the trigger on that this year, and that is the major reason that this is coming up is we want to adopt those maps to keep ourselves current on our flood insurance with them. Also, the only other major change is we're taking the floodplain administrator away from Wes and putting it in my office just to give him a little breathing room so he doesn't have all the titles. So, but
Sure.
that's basically what this is we're adopting the updated FEMA maps. Very little of anything else from the old code has changed except maps and the floodplain administrator.
Any questions? All right, open to any public comment. Seeing none, I will close that section for item number 19, which is the public hearing for an ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code, Land Development Code, Section 400.120, in order to clarify the definition of an accessory dwelling unit.
All right. And I bet you guys are wondering what an accessory dwelling unit is.
About like someone living in your shed.
Carriage house. Troy.
Ooh, carriage house, I like it.
So,
I like it.
Grandparents' quarters.
an accessory dwelling unit is an attached or detached residential living unit on the same parcel as a single-family residence. It provides complete independent living facilities for one or more persons, and they take various forms. An attached ADU shall be defined as an addition attached to the primary dwelling with an exterior entrance with no accessible connection to the primary structure. So, what it is, what up?
It can't have a pass-through.
So if you put an addition on your house with an exterior entrance and it has a connection to your home, we call that an addition.
Right.
But if you put an addition on your home with an exterior entrance that has no accessible connection to your home, that is considered an ADU, or accessory dwelling unit. So,
And if somebody's going to create one of those, it would go through the normal zoning process, be approved.
it'll be approved through the ordinance that is upcoming, yeah. So, and the next, one of the next ordinances, sorry, will cover directly address ADUs, but this just defines what an ADU is. It can be attached or detached, but if it's attached, that's the definition. An exterior entrance that's not connected to the home. That you can't walk in from the ADU to the main house. So.
All
And that's the
right.
only- What was that?
What if you pass through the garage?
So if you walk through a garage and there's a door leading in there, you're connected.
You're connected over.
Yeah. There is, like, somebody was talking, well, what if it's a covered patio? And you have a pool house or something like that? I would consider that an ADU,
Right.
because you have
They're
set,
not connected, I mean, you don't have a combining wall.
You don't have a structural connection, if it's not structurally connected, it's an ADU, right?
well, you can be structurally
That
connected,
would still be structurally connected by the roof,
yeah,
but you
but
don't have a door
Doesn't
from one
pass
to
through.
the other.
It must have complete independent living facilities for one or more person.
so if you had a basement you redid that had no
And you sealed off the.
no accessibility to the upstairs, that would be an ADU. It has an exterior entrance, but you cannot access you can't access the primary dwelling. Or if you had a detached garage with some living quarters over the top, that's an ADU. Because it's detached from the home, has living quarters.
And we can debate this issue later when the
But
ordinance
it's
comes
coming
out.
up. It's coming up. This is just the definition, and this has taken me longer than the last three, so,
Okay.
Because we've gone over the other two.
yes, absolutely.
You're still on time.
All right.
That's
Any public comment? See none, I'll close that section. And item number 20 is a public hearing for an ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code, Land Development Code, Section 400.570, simplify the general code by consolidating animal regulations into one section.
This is definitely not something I wanted to touch, but I had to. So, on the accessory uses, we had a section defining chickens. And if you ever want to get people riled up, just say you're changing the chicken ordinance, and it's over. I'll be looking for another job.
I want him to tread very carefully, so don't have.
So Doug, you may want to comment on this. I am not doing anything to the chicken ordinance, okay?
just moving its location.
Correct. All I'm doing is, I'm moving it from section 570, sorry. Yeah, I'm moving it from section 520 to section 570. That's it.
It's just
Okay.
moving
No,
locations.
no changes. All I'm doing is I'm taking that section out and I'm putting it in the animal section instead of the accessory uses. That's it.
We'll talk about changing it later.
Enough said.
Yes.
All right, is there any public comment?
I approve.
All right. Doug, all right. See none other than Doug, I'll close that section. Then item number 21, I'll open the public hearing for an ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code Land and Development Code, Section 400.520, in order to allow homeowners flexibility in utilizing accessory structures.
Okay, so this one, there were several changes on this one. We added accessory dwelling unit to the code, which means an accessory dwelling unit is defined in section 120, and it may be also, may be called a guest house, a mother-in-law quarters, a pool house, a carriage house. That's where I'm throwing my kids.
I'm buying KC carriage.
You know, so
That's not what I said.
so we added that to the accessory, and we added barns because barns were not in there for some reason. We added barns to the accessory use. We defined habitable space because in our previous code you could not have living space other than a guest house for temporary use in an accessory dwelling. So we changed that, stating that now we will, under certain conditions, approve living space in an accessory dwelling. And those conditions are as follows. We had in the code already, we had an accessory structure sized by lot. So if you had a large lot, your accessory structures can be larger. If you have a small lot, 0 to 7,000 feet, you can only have a 500 square foot accessory building. But if you have an acre, that can be 2,500 square feet. And it was based on lot size, and that's been in the code as long as I've been here. What I changed was the accessory structure height. So what I didn't want to see is, hey, Mike's putting an accessory garage on his building and it's going to be 3 feet from the property line, but it's going to be 24 feet tall. And neighbors calling up saying, all I can see is this monstrosity of a garage, and he's taking away my view corridor. And so what we decided, what we're proposing is, if you're within 3 feet of the property line, that structure can only be 8 feet tall. If you go 5 feet from the property, you can go 10 feet. If you go 15, you can go 15 feet. 20, you can go 17. If you're meeting a full setback, you can go 24 feet from the property line. And I will get into my reasoning here in the next section, because it's strictly, it's for all accessory structures. So if I wanted to put a shed on my property and I put it within 3 feet of the property line, that shed from floor to top of roof can't be more than 8 feet tall. They move back to 5 feet, it can go up to 10 feet tall. So I just want to avoid the conflict, the neighbor conflict. And when we get into the accessory structures, it's gonna explain itself better. But that's the only changes in the accessory code. We took out these, we defined habitable space, and we put this graduated height restriction by setback in the code. Questions?
So, would people be grandfathered in then that have those structures? Let's just say, I don't even know how tall my shed is.
Yeah, we're not gonna go through and.
Zoning, any land use existing prior to a change. So say tomorrow, next meeting, you guys want to move any of those numbers, then whoever makes those changes in between the adoption of this code and a change in the adoption is a legal use, and it remains a legal use as long as it continues to conform without expansion or abandonment.
Yeah, I know I have a constituent as well that built a shop on that has a bathroom shower, that when families in from out of town, they can stay in the shop, but it's a shop. So, yeah, I mean, that would just be something if they're grandfathered in, it would be.
So it would have to be legal non-conforming, so it would have to be legal at the time to which it was allowed. So if it was not allowed and did not meet the fire code, say for instance, for habitation, then it would never have been legal conforming, and so it would not be able to be legal non-conforming. So whatever their status is before the change remains the same.
Yeah, I mean, he had no ordinance, and I'm assuming everything was good.
Yeah, so we're not gonna propose to pass this ordinance and then go move every shed in town away from the property line. That's not the intent of the ordinance. The intent of the ordinance is to correct anything from here on out.
Yeah.
Good question.
All right, any public comment? Seeing none, I'll close that section. And item number 22, we'll open the public hearing on ordinance adding Schedule 4 of the Wheeler, Missouri City Code, Land Development Code, Section 400.521, in order to allow accessory dwelling units. Buckle up.
All right. Good time.
I have 15 minutes per item. I'm
I
only 18.
changed it, I made an administrative change.
Oh, okay.
I narrowed it by 3 minutes.
Okay, well, all right. Accessory dwelling unit. This allows for a secondary dwelling unit on single-family residential.
Turning your shed into an Airbnb.
If you meet some requirements. Number one, your shed does not meet that requirement.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so.
Anyway.
Okay, got a couple things. So, she was talking conforming, non-conforming, right? So you can only apply for this on an existing building if you're illegal conforming. So if it's illegal and it does not bring it to conformity, you can't apply. So, if you've got a shed on your property line that's 15 feet tall, you cannot apply to make that into an accessory dwelling unit because you do not meet the setback requirement. Okay?
So what is the benefit of this?
The benefit of this is, one, we're trying to meet the needs of a changing dynamic in the community. You know, housing is super expensive. We're trying to reduce cost of housing, we're trying to increase flexibility, and we're trying to give increased density in homes, in residential lots, because number one, Wheeler they have huge lots. We're trying to increase that density because that helps a lot of ways, but it specifically helps our infrastructure, because if we increase density, we have the same roads, we have the same infrastructure serving more people. So, and it gives those people the flexibility to use that property how they may. So if they qualified to put an ADU on their property and everything like that, according to this ordinance, and they make it work, they legally could have a rental on their property, bringing in income.
So if I got a half-acre lot, then I could build a couple little cottages and just rent them out.
Okay, let me walk this through real quick. So according to the ordinance, you could put an ADU on a single-family residential lot. You are limited to one ADU. That ADU has to be secondary in nature, which means it cannot be greater than 80% of your home, 80% of your home, and it has to convert to the table in the accessory dwelling unit that is on lot size. So if I had 1,000 square foot home on my 7,000 square foot lot, according to the ADU, I could build an 800 square foot ADU on my property, because that's 80% of my primary. But the table says, according to my lot size, I can only build at 500. So I have to follow the least amount. So
do you have any idea how that's gonna impact taxes at the county level, when the county evaluates the value of our property? If now all of a sudden we have a rental income on our parcel, how's that gonna affect county taxation?
You'll have to talk to the county about that. I know your property valuation is gonna go up, but,
Currently, the newly approved definition for your taxes includes short-term rental being taxed as residential. I can't remember if the governor signed that or not, but the expectation was that he would. So it would expand it in that you would have more square footage of development, but it would still be taxed at a residential rate.
So you're being taxed for the income, basically, that you're
No.
going to
No.
generate.
No, you're being taxed on the additional square footage.
It's just the square footage of the home.
But it's gonna-
You'll
But
see,
if it's income, it could be perceived as commercial, and that was part of the challenge, and the language from the legislator defined that short-term rental as residential, not commercial.
so your direct
So it did
financial
not go to the
benefit
higher
would be your
tax,
ad valorem tax, provided the increase doesn't go over the cap, and the annual cap. And then theoretically, you're gonna see increased utility usage. You're gonna see increased return per infrastructure mile for what we got. What I've been saying to the team is, you know, in some cases, density will be a win for us, because we're so spread out, and yeah, some people like a single family lot, a single family home, nice bit of space. But as you get closer to the center of town, generally, if you look at the patterns of development in other communities, tend to be denser in the middle. Where a lot of cities go awry is they spread out so much. Now they realize infrastructure costs a lot of money to replace, and they don't have a lot of folks driving back into the system. So it's kind of a win-win in some ways. There may not be a ton of interest, but patterns we're seeing in the housing market, of course, is very expensive. People are staying at home longer with their parents because they can't afford to get out anymore. So it gives the parents a way to get them out of the house without getting them out of the house all the way. So there's benefit there. We've got an aging population. Sometimes parents don't want to go and live in a home or downsize, but now they can live with their kids but still be independent. So it's kind of a flip side on the same equation. But it's also increasing and improving our land use, and hopefully, as Mike says, creating some of that density in some of the suburbs, creating an opportunity to address a need in a housing crisis. It's just kind of, it gives us a circular opportunity for folks who are interested. Not everybody's going to be interested. Like a single family lot, they don't want to change it. They're quite happy with it. But those that do, they have the opportunity. And I'm with it. 3 minutes.
You took my 3 minutes, man, that's not fair.
He was over.
It was already over.
So we come back and cover it when we get down to the
Yeah.
ordinance section and talk further about it, because I got a feeling this one's gonna require some more conversations.
All right.
Any public comment? Seeing none, I will close that section. Doug, I know you're getting ready to.
I don't want my kids staying with me after.
All right,
See, it's gonna regulate itself, look at that.
there you go. Now we'll get down to the ordinances. We're back at you, we're back at the old way, you want me to? All right, section number 23.
An ordinance repealing section 127.220 of the municipal code of the city of Willard, Missouri, and amending section 127.210 regarding exclusions to membership on the Parks and Recreational Advisory Board.
I think this is our second read. It's
It's been a while since we talked about it, but no changes, as you might remember, it's the last one lucky individual
So everybody's on
Board of
board
Alders
with what we're
to
talking
serve on the park board.
If there are,
Motion to approve the ordinance as read.
attaboy.
All right, and who seconded that? That was fast. I have a first and a second. Alder Wheeler.
Yes.
Alder Keane.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. An ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, revising and replacing section 400.510 of the city code, providing for mixed-use development. First and second.
As we have gone
through numerous-
ad nauseum,
Yes.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve the ordinance as read.
Thank
I'm
you.
seconding. I third it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a first and a second. Alder Wheeler.
Yes.
Alder Keane.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm gonna frame that ordinance.
Now we gotta do it again for the second.
An ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, revising and replacing section 400.510 of the city code, providing for mixed-use development. This is the second read.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster. Yes. Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. An ordinance amending Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri Land Development Code to add Section 400.515 regarding planned development districts. First read.
Make a motion to approve as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
An ordinance amending Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri Land Development Code to add Section 400.515 regarding planned development districts. Second read.
Motion to approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. An ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code, Land Development Code to replace Section 400.1520 in adopting floodplain management regulations. First read.
Make a motion that we approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
An ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code, Land Development Code to replace Section 400.1520 and adopting a floodplain management regulation.
Motion to
Second.
approve the motion I'm getting
As written. As written.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm afraid Holly's gonna come over here. and
No,
get
you
me.
got it.
If I don't respond.
You're on it, that's right, I'm loving it. Over here.
An ordinance revising
Not yet.
Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code Land Development Code, Section 400.120, in order to clarify the definition of an accessory dwelling unit. First read.
This is one that if you guys would like, we can entertain a motion to break it out into a second vote next time so we can discuss
This one is just to define.
just the definition.
Just the definition.
I'll make a motion that we approve it as read.
The definition.
Yeah.
I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. Second read, an ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code Land Development Code, Section 400.120, in order to clarify the definition of an accessory dwelling unit. Second.
Motion to approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. An ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code Land Development Code, Section 400.570, to simplify the general code by consolidating animal regulations into one section. First read.
Make a motion to approve as read.
Second. I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. An ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code Land Development Code, Section 400.570, to simplify the general code by consolidating animal regulations into one section. Second read.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
A second. I have a first and a second. Alder Billiard.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
An ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code Land Development Code, Section 400.520, in order to allow homeowners flexibility in utilizing accessory structures. First read.
So this one just, is the graduated tables We took the bees out of it as an accessory use, put it in an animal ordinance. And then we added ADUs and barns as an accessory use. That's really the only changes in this one.
I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Beelier.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. An ordinance revising Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code, Land Development Code, Section 400.520, in order to allow homeowners flexibility in utilizing accessory structures. Second read.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Beelier.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. An ordinance adding Schedule 4 of the Willard, Missouri City Code, Land Development Code, Section 400.521, in order to allow accessory dwelling units. First read.
This was the one that I think you guys were digging into more. You can still do first and second read combined and have the discussion, or you can move to remove the second read and do that as second date if you wish as part of the discussion.
Because I had initial thought, I mean, I love the altruistic examples given regarding mom and grandma. But I also know of individuals that say owning a lot of properties in Willard that would definitely seize this opportunity to stack as many ADUs in their property as possible to enhance their income producing potential.
Okay, let me go over that, because
Okay.
I have lost a fair amount of sleep on this ordinance, because that's the last thing I want is, man, everybody's got an ADU and it's stacked in 50 deep, and let me go through this a little bit. So the ordinance defines that there shall be one ADU, there may be one ADU on a property. There can't be more than one. So they have one shot at it. They can't buy a property and make it into an Airbnb with 15 ADUs. That's totally against the ordinance. Also, when you put an ADU on a property, they can't condominium that, so they can't sell that ADU individually. So if you sell the primary residence, your ADU is sold with that residence. The only exception to that is that they have enough property to meet the zoning code and meet setbacks and everything like that, they can split that off. But if they were gonna do that, they could probably just build a regular sized home and they don't have to worry about it because they can split their property. So you can't, according to this section, you would not be able to sell an ADU unless you meet the zoning requirements. So if I put an ADU on my property, I could not sell that individually unless I met the zoning
What
requirements.
about the people who buy a home because they like the big lot size,
Mhm.
and then their neighbors all around them start stacking ADUs on their property, and all of a sudden, they no longer have a big lot with big lots around them, they have their own big lot that now has multiple houses and.
So there is that question. It's not gonna be as easy as, hey, I'm gonna put an ADU and I'm gonna buy a metal building and drop it in my backyard and I'm going to put plumbing and sewer in and everything like that, and we're going to rent this out.
And will there have to be shared drives and shared drive agreements? Will they be able to put separate
Well,
drives?
there was stuff in there
So-
about the drive,
so-
it has to
so yeah,
have off-street parking.
Let me go through that really quick, okay? So, like I said, it's not gonna be as easy as, hey, I qualify for a 1,000 square foot ADU, I'm gonna put a metal building on it. It's limited to 2 bedrooms, they can't have more than 2 bedrooms in it. The height is limited to the setback table in the accessory dwelling, or the size, or the height of the structure, the primary structure, whichever is greater. So if I have a single family residence, I cannot have a 2-story ADU. That would be forbidden. Second, if I'm putting an ADU in, I have to match the primary residence and the surrounding residences' architectural design, exterior finishes, colors, roof design, roof type, and everything like that. So I'm not gonna if, my try at an ADU by throwing a metal building in my backyard is not gonna work, because it doesn't meet the aesthetics of the neighborhood. We want this to be seamless, we want this not to be noticed, you know, and that's the intent of the code. So, also, if they do not have additional off-street parking, one car per bedroom of the ADU at the primary residence, they will have to install hard surface parking to cover that. So on-street parking is not allowed.
Is gravel hard surface
No. It will have to be concrete
or asphalt?
or asphalt. So, so yes, I think with the regulations, with the graduated tables and sizes and everything like that, this is not gonna be, you know, everybody running in. Doug might run in here, you know, but, I don't believe everybody's gonna be running in to drop an accessory dwelling unit in, because there are gonna be some restrictions, and it's gonna be cost prohibitive, because we want it to fit seamlessly in the neighborhood. You know, a lot of the older homes and everything like that are single story, so you're not gonna get a two-story ADU in the backyard, because that's against that's against code. So, we're looking at some other things coming up later, as far as lot design and everything like that, but as far as the ADU, I think it's gonna regulate itself. And, you may get developers coming in that state, you know what, I'm gonna be building a home with an ADU on it already, you know? In that case, we have defined it that if it's part of the development and you're building the single-family residential home along with the ADU, they will have separate utilities. What we're trying to do is we're trying to, like I said, we're trying to increase flexibility for people. We're trying to increase density where available. But this is by no means a free ticket for people to throw a rental on their property. There are steps, there are hurdles, there are things that they will have to qualify during the planning process to be accepted. So I think a lot of that's just going to be weeded out. I mean, like I said, if I came in to drop an accessory unit on and I don't meet the requirements, I don't meet the architectural design, I don't meet the setbacks, you know, there's a lot of things that they have to meet for them to qualify for this, and I think that's what the ordinance has going for it is. Not everybody's going to be able to want to do that, because like I said, it's cost prohibitive. Getting architectural design to the standard of your home and the neighboring homes, so it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. Pink siding's not gonna work, you know.
Architecturally harmonious is the phrase.
Yes.
So Mike, just as a point of reference, what is the average rooftop house of single dwelling, rooftop height of a single dwelling house?
Well, you're probably talking around 15 to 16 feet.
So that's gotta be offset from property line. I mean, if you were gonna build.
No, you're talking primary residence and single?
No, like.
Or you're talking, okay.
My primary residence, I mean, like I say, I'm just trying
Your
to.
average home height.
Yes, average home height.
Yep, so you are probably
For a single
talking,
story.
yeah, probably talking around the 15 to 16.
So you've gotta be offset your property line, how many feet?
15 feet?
15 feet.
Yep. So if you offset it by, 15 feet, you can go up to 15 feet tall. So it depends on the roof pitch and everything like that, but they're gonna wanna match the home, you know? So if you have a single family home, single family residence and everything like that, okay, you may have to go back, you may have to set it back 20 feet.
You gotta have the yard footage for that.
Exactly. So I'm not worried about this sliding into smaller lots and everything like that, because
It's gonna be the big lots.
according to our accessory structure, if you already have a shed, that counts against this, you know? So,
Demolish your.
But I can bulldoze my man cave if I want,
true,
and build one of these.
yeah,
Or turn your
absolutely.
man cave into one of these.
Would not be
Remodel.
architecturally harmonious, because it's cinder block.
That is very true. So with the stuff
It's
that's on
insured
this,
though, so fires hazard.
with the 80,
That was
wood,
Not much.
That's, you're on camera saying that.
so
Insurance company's taking notes.
with it can't be more than 80% of the primary structure, and it can't exceed the accessory structure by lot size. That was the planning commission's big thing is, well, what's stopped me from putting a 3,000 square foot accessory structure on something? Well, your primary structure is not 6,000 square feet, and you're not on a 5-acre lot. You know, so most people, if they have land and they want to build another structure, they'll just split it off and they'll build a structure. You know, they're not going to go the accessory route.
Well, there's not that many lots that are like
That are that big.
that big in the city limits.
Inside the city limits.
There's this crazy nice lot on Miller.
It's 5 acres,
5
that's
acres.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's too much for one person.
snobby.
I love that house.
So, questions, concerns?
I mean, I think it's self-regulating. I mean,
It
when you
is self-regulated.
when you think about, you gotta come in 15 feet, and of course, we've already had our house, so there's no room. But, I mean, when you think about that, it kinda, I mean, it's gonna self-regulate itself, I think.
It will, because there are some lots that it's gonna work, and there's some that aren't, and if it doesn't work for a detached, they can always do an attached. Just as long as they meet the regular setbacks, right? So, I mean, I think it's pretty cut and dry. I can see a definitive line in the sand, but,
I think you do have an inconsistency in D, your development standard says shall not be constructed closer than 10 feet to the principal structure or any other accessory structure on the lot.
okay,
In your definition of accessory dwelling unit, you allow it to be adjacent to the principal.
okay. So if it's detached, it needs to be 10 feet behind. So only on the detached. So the attached obviously is gonna be attached to the building, but on a detached, yeah, you need to have 10-foot separation for fire. That's required. So, do I need to adjust the language on that, Holly, or?
I would make where it begins with if detached, be a second paragraph, and then it reads more appropriately.
And you're talking D?
D, it's on the 3rd page, so you've got D, setbacks if attached. The ADUs shall abide by the principal structure zoning district setback requirements.
Sure.
If detached, and then one II and III apply only to the detached, so I would make that a second paragraph.
So, okay, I said setbacks, if attached is A, if detached is B, and then I have II.
You can, well, in the language that you have allows for the clerk to make a Scrivener's error. And in ease of reading, if you just hit and begin the second paragraph, instead of only having one, if detached.
Yeah, I think that should, yeah, I get what you're saying, I've made that change, so.
Correct, the ADU can be an Airbnb.
Yes,
So my primary, if it's passed after my primary residence, could be an Airbnb, and I can have an Airbnb.
here's one thing that we, on the application side, they will provide written documentation that the owner is living on the property, whether it's the primary residence or the secondary residence,
That the owner intends to live.
intends to live on the property. So,
Totally open window.
That's,
what was that?
Intense.
How do you prove intent?
you don't.
Exactly.
We've pointed this out.
But we've experienced this.
Hey, this isn't a mayor's race.
Oh.
Singer.
Okay. So what we're trying to do, is the owner needs, at the time of the application, the owner needs to reside in either the primary residence or the secondary residence, right? I can't regulate everything,
Sure.
you know, but at time of application, the owner of the property should come forward and say, I'm the owner of the property, I'm gonna be building the ADU, this is my contractor, okay, we're good. What happens in the future, I can't regulate that, you know, so if he moves to Rogersville and he decides to rent those out, he would have moved to Rogersville anyway, and he would have rented those out anyway, you know, so, but how we're trying to get away from corporations coming in and buying properties and putting ADUs and renting everything out is the owner of the property has to live there at time of application. Intends to live there at time of application. Thank you, Holly. She gave me the lawyer. So, she's got a good arm.
I bet she does.
So, concerns? Carol, what do you think?
Makes sense to me.
You know, I like her.
Anyway, some classes I took, it kind of did a lot of this similar. So that's like, yeah, that's right.
Any other questions?
If discussion is at an end, you can, if you want to allow time for your constituents to reach out to you and people to think about it,
I think we're
you
better
can make a
off
motion and pull it
waiting.
apart.
Yeah.
But you don't need to make a motion to approve the first read, we've already done that, but you
Right.
can make that motion, separate the second read at
I
next
think
time.
we need to make a motion to separate out the second read.
I think we do, or you make.
I am making a motion to separate out the second read.
I'll second that.
I have a first and a second to separate. Alder Villiers. Yes. Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
And just for clarification, technically, you were just postponing second read
Yes.
to next
Next
meeting.
meeting, yes.
You realize you're giving me more time?
You can add chickens to it.
No.
Well, this is gonna be one of those subjects that will be good to talk about.
Oh,
because I feel
absolutely.
This is gonna be one of those things that gets passed and the public isn't paying attention, and the first time it happens, the first time someone owns 4 parcels, and we have people that, in Willard that have that, and they do it on every single one, and all of a sudden there's 4 more people living on your street there, then we're gonna hear about it.
I'm not in any hurry. Let's discuss, let's mull it over, let's go through it. There's no hurry to push things through.
All righty.
An ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, accepting a bid for solid waste collection service and authorizing the mayor to execute related agreements.
Here we go.
First read.
We received 3 bids for trash services. GFL has been selected as the lowest, and Gina is here to sum up briefly the cost savings compared to the original. And then, of course, we have Doug in the audience there who made a compelling case earlier for B&H. So you can consider that as you go into discussion.
Well,
I'll throw it over to Gina.
I actually was already planning to ask why in our packet we only got the GFL bid.
So we were giving you the lowest bid. The rest of them are here at City Hall to look at. I even have them for after the meeting. If you guys decide to hold the second meeting later, we can do that. I have it all here, but right now, last month, we paid $1,700 for trash. We
For
have
Republic, correct?
Republic Services, yeah. We have 4 carts and 3 dumpsters. We put out the bid the first time, Republic Services was the only person who answered back. So we put out the bid again, and I hand wrote addresses on 15 of them, sending them to all different trash companies. Republic Services came back with $1,500 still. This month it was $1,700, so not much change. GFL's was $337 for a month, and it's 80% savings for the city. And B&H was $522, which is a 70% savings. And as Doug said earlier, it's local. It's what you guys want to do, but we're looking to save the city a lot of money, so either one of them is still a good option.
I have my bid, if anyone wants to see it.
Was her number correct, Doug?
Do what?
Was her number correct?
It was.
Okay, I think that's suffice for now.
And I also have copies, so if you want to do a separate read next time, we can look over it sometime this week or whatever you want to do.
Can everybody just pause for 1 second while I ask a leading question? I want to say something gets us all in trouble.
Please don't.
Proceed.
My other question, I noticed this is just for the solid waste, are we looking to change from our recycling as well?
This does not include recycling at the moment. A lot of the other companies do not have recycling.
Okay.
GFL might. I have not reached that one right now.
Okay.
Our recycling was not very expensive, and they come and haul it off. So if Republic kept that, it's not that big a deal. We are still under budget for the year right now with our trash slips, but this big savings come budget time goes somewhere else.
Does state, and I just had asked what's this, but just to get it on the record, does state statute require us to take lowest bid or
No, lowest and best.
lowest and best? So the
In
fact
your
that,
bid, you should have said what your considerations were in the bid request.
Yeah, it doesn't say in our bid that we will take the lowest bid, it just says we'll make a decision of it before the board gets to decide.
so then you weigh in the benefit of city sponsorship and giving back into the community and those kind of things as well as part of your lowest.
Well, I'm not completely clear, but I believe we had an opening of the bid previously and a scaling, scoring of the bidders.
Yes.
And the recommendation was for GFL. So it would have to do with the scoring. Now, there has been a discussion about recycling, and recycling was not part of this. You could ask that a bid be holistic, because commonly when you add the recycling, it makes it cheaper. So that could be a different consideration. But at this point, they're telling you that on their own, they made that consideration of what the scoring aspects were for that bid. She has recognized the fact that their first attempt at receiving bids got no one, and then she got multiples, but it has been expressed that there's no recycle in it, and sometimes when you bundle them together, you get a better overall deal, so you can do with it as you may.
And to kind of piggyback on what Joyce said, we as the board, they don't have to give an explanation if they want to go with somebody else. We have no legal obligation to explain if we decide to go with someone that's not the lowest bid, correct?
Correct, but you have to, you have to have a reason to which you are awarding the contract. And generally, that is done through the scoring process based on the request for bids. That's part of the fairness process. When we go out for bid, we are going to be looking at these things weigh more than others. And so that aspect of it has already happened. What they are telling you is that based on all of that, and so if you don't feel comfortable that maybe the scoring was appropriate, you can not even proceed with this, and you can ask that it be rebid. You can, with a priority of a higher scoring aspect in regards to local businesses, things like that. But everybody who bids should have the opportunity. You don't get to come after the fact and go, well, I was better, I'm giving you coupons, right? So then that affects that trustworthiness of the bidding process. And this was a closed bid. Yeah. So it was a sealed bid, so it's not like everybody's out there telling what their option is. So their recommendation is pursuant to their process and what the process said. It scored this one as lowest and best. And if that is not palatable to this board, one of the things you can ask for is that it be bid including recycling, because recycling is important to the city. Or you could say that you feel that there needs to be reconsideration and it needs to be rebid with a higher priority or scoring mechanism for local businesses.
You did. It's only Kim with me, and I can't make a motion.
You either make a motion for, was this first read? Yes. So, you have not voted on the first read. If you have a first and a second, approving as read. If you don't have a first and a second, it dies, which in essence would take it back for another bite.
If we did take it back and do a different scoring process, would we have to send out the bid again, or can we use the bids we have now and just have a different scoring
Yes, because you can't change the rules after they submit,
Okay.
right? You have to, if there was an error, a technical error, that's one thing. Didn't read the one that was turned in timely, that was set on a different desk, but it would need to be fair.
So it doesn't have to go back out to everybody, just everybody who submitted the bid.
No, it reopens.
To everybody.
You start from
Okay.
scratch again.
Okay.
Basically, we'd have to put in the
New criteria.
specifications.
Yeah, if you want a different scoring, or if you want additional consideration. I will say commonly we see, recycling's expensive. That's just all there is to it. So if recycling is going to be important, we see that by putting it in the bid, it will account for it and level out your cost than when you do recycling on your own. Unless you have a business that's real big on that.
So is that going to change the cost of recycling if we leave recycling with, because I think it's also currently with Republic,
It
correct?
is.
So is that gonna change the cost that we pay them
When we pull the trash.
if we pull the trash from them?
I have no idea.
If that wasn't looked into?
I think we only have recycling for City Hall. I don't think
We have recycling
No,
for
we
the
have-
city.
We have a
We have it
recycling
now.
center.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at the recycling center, but it's a different, totally different bill. At the recycling.
That's what we're saying, if you
Are we
combine
sure
the
about
two.
that?
Yeah.
Yes, I have it
Think
right
about
here.
it.
It was $260 for
Yeah,
the month of
it's,
June. And it was $170.30 for the month of May. For
Okay, if we take-
recycling, oh, but,
Is that from Republic also? Okay, and if we take away the
trash,
garbage,
yeah, they
they
might.
might,
Is that gonna go up?
I have no idea.
Do you have that contract?
It is bill center.
Which one?
The recycle center.
Oh, no, I don't have the recycling. I just have the new bids with me.
And, I mean, I guess I'm questioning that, why don't they, like when we have our trash gather day or whatever we wanna call it, why don't they support that as far as that's part of the trash services that they provide for the city?
So that can be, so like a once a year or twice a year, clean out your closet dumpster day, where you bring to a dumpster, that can be made part of the contract that you, do an RFP or an RFQ for.
But each time we add service, the chances are, I'm just saying, that the price will go up.
Well,
No guarantees,
I
but
mean, those services,
So
somebody
services
else
are
is
being
providing
provided
the cost of
currently,
those
so that
services
should
as
be
it
included in
is.
the bid.
if we want to put it all together, then that would be, we would need to put it all together.
Because
Let's
currently
compare apples
the,
to apples here and not apples to bananas.
We've always did it separately in the past.
And are they separate contracts?
I believe they are, I can't find it because, technology, but I believe it was Midwest, and then I think Republic assumed it, and I believe it's still separate. So I don't think there is bundling, but there is an opportunity for bundling, so I think, I agree with you, I think we could explore that.
We could.
And then that gives us an opportunity to change the scoring criteria, since that's what the board seems to have an appetite for, and make sure we're measuring that as well. Seems like that's legally supportable as well, so.
I mean, just as a comparison, so the current bid was how much a month, I'm sorry, I didn't write it down.
For which one, for Republic?
For the GFL.
GFL's $337,
So 337 and then
522.
522 for B&H. So as an example, if they charged us $1,000 to do trash day and to take care of Freedom Fest, another $1,000, then his bid, if he includes that as part of his service to the city,
Correct.
he really comes in at a cheaper price overall because the city isn't having to pay for those things that he has been willing to donate
Already
in the
been
past.
donating to
Correct.
us.
So can I get a motion to postpone this vote until we re-examine the weighting of the bid and the criteria for the bid, and we will discuss it again at a later date?
I'll make a motion that we postpone this and that we rebid and include Freedom Fest trash and trash haul, include all of our, as part of the.
Finance will have to determine the parameters of the criteria and how they're weighted.
Yeah.
So the motion is to postpone the ordinance indefinitely with review regarding scoring requirements and extent of contract.
Yes, what Alex, that motion.
All right, I have a first and a second. Alder Villiers.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
An ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with T-Mobile Central LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute said agreement. First reading.
This one's really easy. T-Mobile wants to give us more money. It's only $260 a month, but it's $260 a month. We've had some back and forth, I think, with some indemnity terms. I think, Holly, you were okay with it after review. So we've redlined a term in there to make sure that to the extent of our sovereign immunity on the indemnity clause, upon signature here, approval will go back to T-Mobile. T-Mobile most likely will sign it, given previous process. And ultimately the additional $260, they're putting a generator in there, they're hardening their network grid, so they put in a generator on site, which takes just a little bit more square footage. Doesn't affect us in any way. Public Works has signed off on the plan, so that's as nutshell as I can make it. It's
They
pretty good.
provided a ton of information about that generator.
They wanted you to know
They wanted
all
all
that.
the details.
Yeah, yeah, but I think
You
we'll.
technically are approving that generator
Right,
as well.
yeah. I make a motion that we approve the ordinance as read.
I second. I have a first and a second. Alder Villiers. Yes. Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. Second read. An ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with T-Mobile Central LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute said agreement.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
I have a first and a second. Alder Villiers.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. An ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with DHK Systems Integration to provide and install an access control device for the Willard Police Station main entrance door, along with providing annual access service. First read.
So this one we talked, gosh, it's been maybe a month now. We upgraded their front door to one that can't be kicked in as easily. This will add some access controls so the officers can badge in without touch, and access controls can be set so someone needs to be removed from the ability to get in the building, they can be removed. It also allows the clerk at the front office to let people in without having to get up and open the door. It's also very expandable, so as we continue to upgrade the building and make improvements, we can upgrade this system with it. The reason it's here with you today is because there is a multi-year contract attached to it. They have redlined on the T's and C's on the back page there to allow the board future opportunity not to appropriate funds for the ongoing contract of $277 a year, and clarifying on sovereign immunity that we are only indemnifying them to the extent of the law. It's a $6,883. That puts in the systems in place that can be upgraded as we add door controls, and then the $277 a year is for access to those controls. It is within budget.
Make a motion that we approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Wheeler.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson. Second read, an ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with DH Pace Systems Integration to provide and install an access control device for the Willard Police Station main entrance door, along with providing annual access service.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Wheeler.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson. Yes. Thank you. An ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, authorizing the grant of a utility easement to Spire Gas. An ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri. I'm sorry, that's done. First read.
So this one, Spire Gas is needing a utility easement, and this ordinance will is the BOA authorization of that easement. They're doing a gas line upgrade on Highway Z, and they need a 10-foot easement across the driveway to replace it. It's, as I understand it, a non-trenching project, so they're going to bore into the driveway. We should see no ill effects or issues to sidewalk, drainage, signage, etc. Just need permission to get in there and get the job done.
They're paying us $1 for this easement.
Reasonable compensation, I think.
How come we don't get any easements for $1?
Steve got us up to 25.
Because we're government, yeah, he did.
That's what I wanna
Steve
know.
negotiated some good ones. Because we're government, we have deeper pockets than Spire.
How did you get that?
Did you manage to take a drink after that?
It was difficult.
So part of that easement consideration, for both sides is increased benefit to the citizens at large. I just want to make record that there is consideration, or else you don't have a contract. Sign.
I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Wheeler.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson. Yes. Second read, an ordinance of the Board of Alders of the City of Willard, Missouri, authorizing the granting of a utility easement to Spire Gas. Second read.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Alder Wheeler.
Yes.
Alder King.
Yes.
Alder Lancaster.
Yes.
Alder Matheson.
Yes.
Alder Wilson. Yes. Thank you.
And number 35, we're pushing.
An ordinance of the
No,
Board.
we're pushing that
Oh,
one.
we're pushing.
We canceled that one. Can't sign. All right, next section, city administrator remarks.
I'm going to go with the brevity is best approach now. The board previously asked about the white farmhouse on Miller. They're working on it. They did give me an update before the meeting, and it's the, I guess the city's ditch, so we got it there and took care of that. This one, I think that Steve is going to go into, so I'll skip that. We did a Freedom Fest 2025 recap video that was well received. We had a good bit of fun doing that one. 12,000 visitors this year, so it's pretty good. Pops also had, last year they reported they had their best year at the Bulls. This year is now their best year at the Bulls, so they're making strides there. We had an email from the state auditor today. They're calling me Friday to talk about the process and next steps. I think my estimate was about right. It looks like we'll see them around about August, September time. I assume once I speak to them, I'll receive an official date, so I'll communicate that out as soon as we know more. The ATV post this morning made the news, so we'll be on KY3 talking about ATVs, and you'll hear me saying I don't know anything about ATVs and what makes them street legal, but talk to the dealer and maybe they can help you. Just for the record though, we're not signaling that the police department is going to be doing any increased enforcements on ATVs or any less enforcement than they're already doing. We're just making clear the rules. People were asking, and so we shared it with them. We do look at Facebook, trying to get an idea of what people are talking about so we can provide that information and be open to people that way. I couldn't find rules about insurance. I mean, it's not just about stopping people driving ATVs. ATVs, according to what I could find anyway, maybe Holly can tell me, they don't have to be insured. So if they run into somebody's car, who fixes the car? So I think people will be concerned to know that. Golf carts.
And you can require those, if you're allowing them on your roads, they are prohibited from being on state roads, they cannot be on the state road, but you can provide for that and make requirements. And I believe when I looked at your ordinances, you did require that in your permitting process.
At the moment, I'm not going to recommend we do any additional restrictions or any less restrictions. It seems to be working. We've had some commentary about people who wish we just get out of the way, and other people seem to be generally supportive of the fact that they're not supposed to be there. So I don't think there's any necessary need for action, but if you hear from the community, we can draft things and change things, especially golf carts. There seems to be some support on golf cart movement. Other than that, nothing crazy this week so far, or last week, or since our last meeting. So we seem to be doing well. And that is all I have.
Anything under new business? Unfinished business. I just had a couple comments on, I think this would go into the unfinished business category. Any update on sidewalks?
Sidewalks.
Jackson Street.
Still with engineers, right?
Yeah, I talked to the engineer middle of last week. The surveyors have been out to survey the sidewalk easement and everything like that, so we should be getting a description of the easement, which we can take to the property owners for their signatures.
So would it be safe to say that it probably won't be completed by the time school starts?
That would probably be a safe bet.
Okay, so on that note, I've talked to Holly a little bit, and just because she reviews the contracts, and her and Wes are going to be having a conversation, and I understand excuses, but I just can't swallow them. When it comes to these contracts, I would love to see a deadline. Whenever we give a contract, we're paying somebody to do something, I want a deadline on there. And I know they're gonna say, well, it might rain on every third Tuesday, or there might be an anthill in the way.
But then they have to come to you and ask for more time.
I think to be fair with this one, as we've gone down the path and had the discussions and we've looked into things, there have been more things that have come up, so then we've given more direction, so they've had to go back.
Yeah, I understand the project's gotten bigger, but my patience is getting lesser.
Totally understand. In this one, it's not all on them. We have gone back with additional directions. So direction on deadline wouldn't have necessarily helped with this one, just because we've updated and increased the scope of what we're trying to do.
Anybody else?
How do we as a board push that?
So by putting it in as requested by the mayor, by putting in those requirements, they then would need to come back and explain, and that gives you guys then that input time for why you would give them that extension. And so that is when you can say, okay, but at this point, we're not gonna make any more changes. We need to see this finished up, or maybe can we phase this project? So it then comes back to you, and you've kind of got progress control.
And then over time, hopefully find a company that can do things efficiently and abide by the time frame set forth in contracts.
In state contracts for highway and sidewalks and whatnot. I know that you can also put in, if you go over contract days, that they
There's
have
penalties.
to pay you.
Yeah, a lot of times in contracts, you build in penalties. I've seen with builders and other people that if you go past a certain day, every day you're penalized X amount.
You can also reward them for getting it in early.
Even better.
So Branson just did that with their downtown improvement. They had a lot of challenges because it closed down during tourism season, their downtown area. And the reason the contractor got done so quickly was they had a qualifier when it was done at an earlier term.
And if I remember right, wasn't MoDOT supposed to get back to us about the roundabouts, about whether or not we're gonna have the ability to decorate them?
And they have, and it looks like we do. I probably need to visit with Holly on that one.
Okay.
It looks like we will have to do it.
We the city or
We the city.
we the people?
We the city.
So could we have a plan and maybe make it a community day?
I'm hoping we can re-engage. I believe we've reached out to, I forget the guy's name now. He's over at the high school. He originally reached out to me late last year about seeing if it could be a student-led project. They had some landscaping kids over there that want to figure stuff out. So I'm hoping when school goes back in, we can get their input and maybe they can direct us, certainly provide some recommendations on things that won't die quickly, because obviously there's a lot of sun and not a lot
The
of water
great
uptake.
senior project.
Great senior project, that was what he wanted to do with Motus. They were adamant, absolutely not, but we've now located an agreement on that where we can do it. So maybe with the direction of the school kids and maybe a layout and stuff, we can start performing some work. My recommendation likely would be to start with the Jackson roundabout and work backwards if we want to hit all three. But certainly that one is you, like a in-town proper as we might see it, would look lovely, and probably the one by McDonald's would look good as well. Gives us an opportunity to learn if we do one at a time. But yes, it's something we have on the table. Wish you remember the guy's name because one of you might know him if I said it. But if you can reach out, and we'll try and reach out to him again and get that input. Yep, absolutely.
All right, if there's nothing else on unfinished business, Casey?
Make a motion that we recess the open session and open the closed session pursuant to RSMO section 610.021, subsection 1 legal and subsection 2 real estate and subsections 3 and 13 personnel.
Second. I have a first and a second. Alder Weir?
Yes.
Alder King?
Yes.
Alder Lancaster?
Yes.
Alder Matheson?
Yes.
Alder Liston? Thank you.
Adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.